You're never gonna make it if you're trading to pay bills, pay your rent, to get food, to pay for your car. It's just not gonna work. I'm so sorry. The market doesn't care that you have like bills or you're about to get evicted, for example.
If you are in debt or you have no money, the desperation that then you bring to trading is the worst recipe.
I saw like a bunch of people getting laid off from their jobs. I was like, that's it. I'm not gonna let others determine my life. Traded, took it really, really seriously. And then I put myself in debt around like 30, 35 in like a few months. It was just the worst time of my life.
And what could you say to the traders, the young female, or just females in general, or the Muslim girls out there, for example, who are interested in trading or finance or investing, but maybe are holding themselves back thinking, oh, that's a guy's thing, or I can't really do that?
Literally, the one thing I can say is
The number one podcast in the trading space, the fastest growing, and that's thanks to every single one of you. Before we get into this incredible episode, guys, let me tell you about how you can get a free trading plan to completely elevate your trading. There's a link in the description below. We're doing a free email list as part of Words of Rizdom now. We're getting as much value to you as possible, which starts with when you sign up a free trading plan. Next to that link, you'll see a free Telegram where I am giving mindset hacks. I'm giving my forecasts for the week in terms of what I'm looking at in the markets. I'm giving updates on the podcast and so much more. So make sure you join that too. We're almost at 13,000 members at this point. Now with Alpha Capital, I'm also going to be giving away a free laptop, cash, iPads every single month, just for being subscribed and having your notifications turned on the podcast. So make sure you do that right now. Now enjoy this episode. Welcome everyone back to the Words of Rizdom podcast. We are still here in Miami. I'm still the number one trading podcast in the world and the fastest growing thanks to all of you and our incredible guests. Talking of which, we have a very special guest with us today, Nehal. I was going to say Trader Nehal, but that's not.
Know,
I don't know
right?
if that's a thing. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very good. Thank you for being here with us today. I
Thanks
really appreciate it.
for having me. I'm very excited to, finally meet you. It's amazing.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. And I got to see your story, your podcast you had with.
Yeah.
I really just wanted to. I thought, representation is very important to me, and especially being a Muslim girl as well who's trading.
Yeah.
You don't see it. You don't get to see it very often.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important. And not only that, you're a really great trader. So
thank you.
But both together, it's a no-brainer to have you on the podcast. Can't even get my words out.
Thank you so much.
Let's just go back quite briefly to the start of your journey.
Okay.
I know a lot of people might have seen that podcast, some might not have.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good to just go in there. But how did you get into trading in the first place?
So I was in college. What I did in college was economics, and I was working after school, just a regular retail job. And for some reason, I landed on that side of Instagram, like all charts and all these things. Yeah, I don't know how it happened.
Someone must have mentioned it.
Exactly.
And then it just comes up.
Yeah. And then I saw all the people like making money, and at that time, $100 a day was like the ultimate dream, my dream at least. So I reached out to someone. I was like, "Hi, this is Nehal. I saw you're doing this. Can I be on? Can you tell me what this is all about?" He sent me the link to IML.
Okay.
And then I watch IML, and they always start you with you're going to be profitable in 90 days. So I'm like, let's get it. I'm so excited. And I remember they told me a story that someone retired their parents after 6 months of trading. I was like, are you kidding me? This is my calling. I got to do this. And then I was paying for the monthly membership. Didn't learn anything, so I stopped that. That was in 2018. 2019, I was on and off. Did signals. Yeah. Of course, didn't learn anything. And then fast forward to COVID hit, and I saw a bunch of people getting laid off from their jobs. I was like, that's it. I'm not gonna let others determine my life and how my life goes. Mm-hmm. So traded, took it really, really seriously. Decided to quit my job, trade full time, and I wasn't profitable. That was horrendous. I'm telling everyone, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Wait until you're profitable. Because it was just the worst time of my life up until this moment. I feel like I have PTSD now. That's
I can
why
imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I have good risk management now. It's remember what happened in the past? I'm scarred. And yeah, I was still in college when I quit my job. I was the last semester of school.
Wow.
Yeah, and I quit with $7,000 to my name.
That
it was
PTSD
crazy.
is there.
Yeah. See, when I'm talking about it, I'm choking up. Yeah, and then I put myself in debt around 30, 35 in a few months. Wow. Yeah, no, it was bad. And the thing is, like, I didn't really tell my family about it because I didn't want anyone
imagine.
to be concerned about it or anything. So
The trading at all or the debt?
no, just the debt part.
Okay.
Like when they would ask me how trading is, like I want to shed a tear, but I'm like, everything is great. It's amazing, you know. And then got a job, paid off my debt, and then honestly, when I got the job, this is where I saw like my trading escalated. And I was able to finally be profitable, and I'm here today.
Incredible. No, absolutely incredible. Very interesting, the debt side of things, and then getting the job and then seeing the change. It's very similar to my story as well. But like, how did your parents take the trading?
Very supportive. My dad's an entrepreneur, so like it's not really
That
new
helps.
in the so much. Like he always told me, "Hey, are you gonna start something for yourself?" Like there's always talk about that in our family. And then when I told them, they were like, do it. There's nothing like working for yourself. Do it. We support you. So I think I'm just so lucky that I never had like family pressure. I know that can be like an extra burden for sure. Yeah.
I think it makes a world of difference. I think it helps as well in one sense. Like there's always benefits to it too in terms of having doubters, if you will.
Yeah.
Even though they might not be doubting you, there's maybe they care about you.
They're scared for your future. Like what if it doesn't work after 5 years, you know?
Then it's so helpful to have support.
Yeah.
Because you can be a lot more open and not feel like you have to hide it. And I think that the hiding bit's the very dangerous bit in trading and generally as well in life. You know?
I agree, 100%.
So that's really good. It's really good to hear.
Yeah.
But then in terms of the journey then, was there any particular strategy that you came across? Or mentor or an education source, even if free or not? Or did you learn just from the markets itself?
No, to be honest, because the way I trade now is just like price action. So I learned that I bought Raja's course. And
really?
then, yes. And it
Raja's
helped me
gonna
so
love
much. I know, right? And then like, because the course is amazing. Like he taught you the psychology of the candlesticks themselves. And this is still how I trade until today. So no, I learned like at least how price action behaves. And then I took that to the markets. But I mean, that doesn't mean that I didn't like take stupid mistakes because the psychology was my hardest part, you know? It took me years and years to figure it out. But no, I definitely learned from him.
That's incredible.
Like price action, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, what do you trade?
In terms US 30.
US 30. That's what I meant. Sorry.
That's the question. Good.
I wanted to make sure because sometimes people are like, what do you mean, scalp, day trade, what?
Yeah.
So that was my bad, but yeah.
No
US
worries at all. No, I trade US 30. I added gold and I love gold. It's amazing, yeah. So those are the only two things I trade.
Volatile.
I like to be in and out fast.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't hold my trades for days, for example.
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple of hours and then I'm in and out of the market.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Amazing. So you full-time trading now?
Yes. I mean, I have like other sources of income, but yeah, I trade full time.
Incredible. So you're becoming like a serial entrepreneur now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Trying.
Dad must be loving it, right?
Yeah, he is. He's very proud and he's like, my last podcast, he's showing everyone, here, this is my daughter. So I'm like, Baba, I love you. But yeah.
Stop it.
Exactly.
That's incredible. Incredible. That's everyone's dream. And you know, parents is. It's really weird because when I grew up, I used to think like the same. Like I used to have a mindset of like, why don't they believe or support or this or that?
Yeah.
Even though my mom was very supportive, but I just observing like, so especially our culture, for example.
Yeah.
I used to think, like, why? Why is that? But then Raja was actually the one who opened my eyes to it. It was really funny, actually. He was the one who was saying like, why would they support when they don't understand? Like,
Exactly.
If you hear about trading, it sounds ridiculous and crazy and
I agree.
essentially gambling, right? So like you'll just assume that's
Yeah.
bad. No, stay away from that, please.
Exactly.
So he really opened my eyes. So it's it's all a parent could dream of is just be able to see someone take some risk but actually overcome it.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever? I'm guessing you've told them about the debt situation after the fact.
After the fact, yeah, because
What
I
do they
didn't
think
want to. Yeah, like the way they were like, oh my god, and you didn't tell us anything about it. It's just the way I thought about it. I got myself there. I really needed to get myself out of it. If they helped me get out of debt or something, I don't think I would have learned anything out of that. Because I have a plan B. They're ready to go at any time. Then what am I learning in life? You know. So yeah.
It's very true, and it shows your character in terms of thinking that way and deciding to do that versus the easy way out.
Yeah.
Debt-wise, you said, was it 35,000?
Yeah, dollars, $35,000. Yeah.
How did you get access to that sort of money? I was going to say, like, how old are you? Right, but then I
You
thought...
can ask me. No, I'm fine with that question. I'm 25 right now.
So how old were you when that happened?
Like 21, 20. Credit cards. I had credit cards. I started building my credit cards early, and I was like paying them on time before trading, of course. So when I needed the credit card, I had the limit.
Wow.
So everything was putting in a credit card, and then like it sucks to say, but like I had that gambling mentality of like, oh, I'm just gonna put this and then I'm gonna make it back right away. Don't worry about it. It's bad. Yeah, it was really
I'm very
bad.
lucky my credit was terrible.
Okay.
So therefore my limit was only a few thousand.
Yeah.
Even that hurt and was very painful, but
Yeah.
I was very lucky in that sense. But yeah, I had the exact same mindset. You know, it was like, this trade's guaranteed. You know, this trade's 100% going to happen.
It's like, why? What gives you the confidence? You don't have results.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And what was your mindset like then? You know, sort of being in that position. You know, and how did it feel? And you know, what was the thought process towards the limit, if you will, of the 35K?
Yeah, I just knew that I was too deep into it right now to give up. And then, you know, and I don't mind, I don't want to sound cliche or anything, but really my biggest fear in life is regret, is to not do something and then look back 3-4 years later and be like, imagine if I had stuck to that one thing, what would life look like? So, like, life sucked at that time. I was pretty depressed, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't have a social life, for example. I was always at home looking at charts, trying to make money. I was chasing like crazy. But then, I don't know, I just thought to myself, like, if I stick to it and actually put the effort to change, maybe something's going to change and it's going to work out. So, yeah.
Is that kind of what happened? Did you give yourself almost an ultimatum, like you can't keep going down this route?
Yeah. Because, you know, the thing is, like, I would, like, buy challenges, for example, and then full margin the challenge on the first day. And then repeat the mistake. Ultimately, my brain got tired.
So was that 35K into challenges?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, yeah.
Some prop firm was happy out there.
I know, right? But I got my money now, so I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah, so it wasn't, and like...
So that would be like a slow, how long, what sort of period of time would that be over?
Oh, like a few months, maybe 5-6 months. Wow, yeah. Like, I blew the money that I had, and then I blew on top of it. So that's why I was like, this is it. I really need a real job. And I graduated around that time, so I leveraged my degree to get a job. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I think without a job, no, I wasn't gonna make it in trading. And that's like the one thing I hope that people take away from this podcast is that it is okay to have a job and trade. It works. You just have to put your mind into it, and it is gonna work. But like, don't look into the things that's like, oh my God, the entrepreneurship is so easy, a day in my life. It's so hard and it's so lonely. And in the process of like figuring it out, you need a stable source of income. So, yeah. No,
100%. It's so interesting. And I think it's so powerful that you say that actually, because, you know, a lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah.
They have that mindset of thinking like, you shouldn't be in college, shouldn't have a job and trade, like, you need to just trade. And yes, that's the goal. That's fine to have the goal, but you know, it's going to take some time to get there.
Yeah.
And in the interim, where's the money going to come from? And, you know, if you are in debt or you have no money, the desperation that then you bring to trading is the worst recipe. It's like the recipe for disaster, really.
Exactly, yeah. You're never going to make it, and this is just my humble opinion, you're never going to make it if you're trading to pay bills, to pay your rent, to get food, to pay for your car. It's just not going to work. I'm so sorry. The market doesn't care that you have like bills or you're about to get evicted, for example. So you need some money, unless you come from a rich family, that's a different story. But if you're just out here by yourself trying to make money, no, you need to just like think long term. Yeah.
Definitely. In that process, when you got the job, what was the mindset then? Were you just literally working, saving, whilst just keeping an eye on the charts, or did you literally get the job and then start trading again straight away?
So I never took breaks from trading. Okay. And then when I got the job, I was lucky enough that it was a work from home kind of position. So I would have my work laptop and I have my chart laptop right next to me, and I'm able to, like, if I spot a setup or something, I'm able to take it. And yeah, literally, it took me, I want to say, around 6 to 8 months to pay off everything. Okay. And during that time, I didn't spend money on anything. I didn't have, like, I had a car and then I sold it, and yeah, like I didn't spend money on anything. I didn't have a car. I lived in, like, I was still able to live and survive, but every single penny was going towards...
You just made some sacrifices though.
100%, yeah, because I didn't want to like have any burden on my shoulders, which is, debt sucks. If anyone's listening and they have debt, it really sucks. So
was it 6 to 8 months from the job, or was some payouts helping as well?
From the job, the payouts, I was putting it towards other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and also at that time I wasn't aiming for like crazy high payouts because I was still getting used to, oh my God, additional money coming in. So that was going somewhere else.
That's interesting then. So like you got the job,
Yeah.
Did you get the job? How soon after the debt did you get the job? Was it quite soon after, or?
So I stayed without a job for those like 5-6 months, and
Yeah.
then I started applying. It took like a month and a half to get a job. So
Okay.
yeah.
And then but you didn't take any breaks, but was there a period after those sort of heavy losses and the debt building up where you might have still been active on the charts, but you just weren't actively trading? And you just had to sort of think, spend the time to think about obviously, what had happened and what changes to make?
I wish I did that, but I'm a really stubborn person. So I'm like, I am gonna, like, this is the thing that took me a long time. I'm so competitive that I was thinking I'm in a competition with the markets. Like, you took $1 from me, I'm gonna make it back. So
I would say though that, it's easy to sit there and be like, oh, you should take a break or you need to think about it. I don't think, the thing with trading, which I find very interesting, and it would be good to get your thoughts on it as well, is like, there's no right or wrong answer.
totally. Totally.
Like there isn't, I couldn't sit there and say, oh, you should have done this.
Yeah.
Like who am I to say that to you? And at the end of the day, it worked for you. But I feel like from my experience of through the podcast in particular anyway, and like just my previous guest
Yeah.
who was on, that's the mentality he would share as well in terms of like that competition, that drive, and like just, and I feel like some of the best traders have that. They don't sort of allow the losses to impact them to the point where they feel sort of demotivated or scared or like inability to move or take action again.
Yeah.
Versus they very quickly recognize how they did that and that it was wrong. But it's time to make it right.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. And, also when you look back at it, it's like, oh, I really should have done a bunch of stuff differently. But also maybe if I've done things differently, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, like sort of good and confident in my trading abilities. So yeah.
Would you say through that experience, you built your pain tolerance, like your risk tolerance, etc.?
Yeah, like losses don't faze me now, for example, because I've like experienced crazy ones before, and now like everything is super calculated. I feel like if I didn't go through a period of gambling, I wouldn't be a good risk manager. I would just like, because my biggest issue with trading wasn't like the technical side. The technical side is okay. I was sizing too big, and then I wasn't accepting the loss. So, you go down that rabbit hole. It's like one loss leads to the other. So once I fixed that, it's...
So what did fixing that look like? Because I'm sure the interesting thing is with the situation that you were in and I was in, I think that is a situation that a lot of people find themselves in, because obviously it's very... You could say it's very humiliating to admit, right?
Yeah.
That, I was in debt and or I made these crazy decisions and I lost as a trader.
Yeah.
That's the reason why a lot of people don't like to share their trades, because they feel like humiliation, they don't want to admit being wrong, etc. So I think it'll be so valuable for people to hear sort of like, what changes did you make in terms of maybe whatever the changes were?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there probably in a similar position.
Totally. So I wrote down a trading plan. I never had a trading plan before. And I still look at my trading plan every single day now before I start trading. And then back in the day, now I kind of like memorize it, but back in the day, before entering a trade, I pull up my plan and it's sort of like a checklist. So is it fitting 1, 2, 3, 4? If it's not, I didn't take it. And then the other thing is I built my risk tolerance again, but from scratch. So instead of like, let's say risking 2% right off the bat, we would do like a 0.25 and then build the buffer or like the profits in order to leverage that later on. This is kind of like honestly still my strategy until today when it comes to risk management, but the trading plan is what helped me so much because I have it written down. It's not, back in the day I was like, no, I'm just gonna memorize it. It's all here, it's all in my head. That does not work. You have to write things down. So yeah, writing it down and journaling. I'm the biggest advocate of journaling. If you can journal every single day, please do, because that's your data.
What do you use to journal?
The infamous TradeZella.
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best trading tool on the market, TradeZella. The reason why TradeZella is the #1 trading tool that every trader needs is because you can do backtesting, automated journaling, trade replay, in-depth analytics, and so much more. And the greatest part about TradeZella is that it's all automated. All you have to do is connect your MT4 and MT5. It will pull all your data onto the dashboard. You can add playbooks. You can just add notes. You can add images from your trades. and you can get the insights that is necessary for you to progress as a trader. Now, TradeZella is for absolutely everyone. Whether you're a crypto trader, whether you're a Forex trader, whether you trade prop firms, it is for absolutely everyone. And that is why thousands of traders have signed up using my link here through the podcast. Make sure you use the code RIZ10 for 10% off your monthly subscription, or WOR for 20% off your yearly subscription. The link is in the description below. And let's get back to the episode.
Yeah.
It has to be. That's
Yeah.
That is incredible. But because the reason why TradeZella I think is just so incredible is literally because I'm the stubborn trader. I'm the guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make trading work, but then I'm not doing any work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like journaling, that's screenshots and all that
Doesn't work.
Yeah, no time for that. Versus TradeZella now takes away that excuse.
100%. Yeah.
But that sounds really good. What do you look for in your journal? Is there anything that maybe when you've looked at your journal and you've said, actually that's something that I can reduce some losses on, or these are some things where I'm making a lot of wins on this on a regular basis?
Yeah, maybe jumping in a little too early before like the setup is complete. And then like sometimes it does work, but you experience like a long period of drawdown before actually the trade takes off. So that's one thing that my journal helped me tremendously with. And then the other thing that it helped me with, like I saw that I'm making profits off of that, is that when I'm just going with the trend and entering on based on like key levels, that's where I see most of the growth. But again, without the journal, I wouldn't have noticed those patterns, So yeah.
No, definitely. And in terms of the trading plan, what I find really interesting actually is obviously you still follow the plan, still follow the risk management, which is obviously so important. And I think a lot of people, I don't know what it is. With yourself as well, like when you were going through that period, was there any reason why you were like over risking a lot? Because I know a lot of people have taken inspiration. I do that because it's a negative thing, really. But they look at people on Twitter, for example, like smashing these challenges and doing massive payouts.
Yeah.
And the people doing it are saying like, I risk 4% a trade.
Yeah.
And therefore people think that's the way. Was that something similar for you, or were you just doing it anyway?
So it was similar. I was comparing myself a lot to people online, and then it was also internal. I was associating my wins with like materialistic things. It's like, oh, if I win this trade, I'm gonna get myself this thing or whatever. Once I stopped doing that, I saw the difference in my trading. But yes, I did compare myself to people online like crazy. I went through a period where I unfollowed everyone. My social media was just personal. I wasn't keeping up with any traders' information. It sort of like feels like I was disconnected a little bit, but it helped me because I needed to be just with myself. Like if I made $1 today, I'm happy with that $1. I'm not looking at trader X that took the same trade and made like $1 million. So yeah, if people are going through it and they feel like it's not motivating, but rather like they feel like, oh, I should have done better, I'm gonna size up next time, don't unfollow people. It's okay, you can follow them back again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the interesting thing. I think it's a powerful thing as well, because a lot of people say that they get distracted. A lot of people do look at other people's analysis, and there's nothing wrong with just blocking it all out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what's your goal? Your goal is to be a trader. Your goal is to trade for yourself.
Right.
And therefore, you have to put yourself first. So I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to unfollow this person, or as you said, like feel disconnected, like missing. I might miss something.
Yeah.
But what will you miss?
Exactly.
Because all you're doing is watching that guy trade or that girl trade. So you're just going to miss what they're doing. You're not going to miss anything.
Exactly.
So I think it's easy though, the trick of social media.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, because like you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's very easy for me to sit here and show you that I took an amazing trade, but maybe this is like my 5th attempt on that specific trade, but I'm not going to show you the previous 4 trades that are like losses. So you just, but I just got to say, there is a lot of transparent people out there now, which is amazing. But sometimes with other people, you don't have the full picture. You don't know what happened before showing you that moment. So yeah.
It's so true. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of moving on from the profitability that came in.
Yeah.
We saw those steps. In terms of trading plan, is there anything that you can share in the trading plan side of things, like number of trades a day or average a week? Obviously, we know you're sort of scalping, so like short-term trading. Obviously, we know about the scaling risk, get the buffer. But like, number of trades we're seeing. Obviously, we're on gold US 30. Anything particular about those two pairs that people can look out for?
Yeah, I take 1 to 2 trades a day. If my first trade is a loss, I technically stop because like I form my bias already for the day, and if it's not working, then I'm out. I'm gonna come the next day. For gold and US 30, because they are super volatile, if they are ranging, don't touch it. Don't try to catch the top of the range or the bottom of the range. 99% of the time, it's not gonna work because you're gonna end up being the liquidity of the market with the crazy wicks too. And then recently, the moves have been happening later in the day. So that's also something I had to adjust for. It's kind of like you get faked out crazy in the morning between like 8 to 10-ish, and then the good moves happen later in the day. So just be patient. It's okay if you're not taking a trade at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. What else? Wait definitely for like the major key levels. That's where you'll be able to bank most of the money without like crazy headache of the trade keep wicking you in and out of like, because I don't like being in trades and it's like wicking in and out 77 times to my entry. It just doesn't work with me. I'm sure it works for others, but I like to be in and out fast and have a high win rate. So yeah.
Definitely. I don't think it works for many. I think a lot of people get stressed in those moments. You know?
Yeah.
So you said you're price action trader. Do you use any sort of fundamentals at all, or?
Of course, because yeah. Fundamentals technically are what moves the price. So I am always keeping an eye on what's happening in like the major economic events. And then we see what happens, like the fundamental sentiment. And then if the price action is also like, supporting the same information, yeah, that's how I enter. But yeah, definitely fundamentals is a huge part of my daily analysis.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Would you say it really helps because, especially with gold and US 30,
yeah,
does it really help the correlation with the news coming out with those pairs?
100%. Yeah. And like you have a few major ones that you really got to keep an eye on, like CPI, FOMC. And lately what I've been doing, because price moves a little bit tricky on days where there are no news, I tend to trade more on news days, not news trades after the news. So yeah, I just find like the easier moves happen on news days now.
Okay. Was there anywhere that you learned more about the fundamental side?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know Capital Hungry. Yeah, I follow him religiously. So I learned so much from him and I watch a bunch of his videos. I would love to say that my economics background helped, but it really didn't that much. Yeah, it didn't.
What did you learn in economics then?
I like international econ, international law. It's more like really book things that, no, they don't apply to trading like that. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Something wrong there. That's the usual school system anyway.
I know, it is. It really didn't help. I have the degree. I'm happy that I have it, but it just doesn't help with trading whatsoever.
Also, what would you do? So obviously you got the degree and then you had the job, right? So like, what was the job? What does that sort of degree help with? What sort of jobs would you get with that degree?
I worked in life insurance. So I got a job in life insurance and underwriting. So I didn't have any experience in life insurance before that. And well, I think
was the job associated to the degree or no?
No, it wasn't.
Just got a job. Okay.
I think I just got lucky that they saw the degree on the resume. So like, okay, hired type of thing.
I got you. Okay. I was thinking there how'd they connect the two?
Nothing to do with it.
Do you know what sort of jobs would be like sort of what you would go for if you were using the degree?
Yeah, you can be a financial analyst. You can get into the investment side, but you also need like the FINRA license series 6 and 7 to get into any investment side of things or financial.
So were you interested in going down that route anyway before like coming across trading? Was that sort of the way you were going to go, like more the professional or in the firm sort of route? I
wanted to be a financial consultant. Okay. Yeah, work for like a big 4 or something. And I was so excited when I was young to do that. This is how I saw my life going, but yeah.
But it was COVID that kind of showed you that, that's not really worthwhile in terms of someone else dictating your 100%. Life, essentially.
Like I saw VPs that wasted 11, 12 years of their lives, and it's like with a phone call, sorry, you're not with us anymore. So can you imagine just like your entire lifestyle is done by just one word, hey, sorry, we don't want you anymore. It's crazy. It's a scary world we live in. So I was like, no, I just don't want to like build my life and just be so comfortable. Because I feel like also if you have that sort of stability, you might get a little bit too comfortable, complacent, and it's like you're not gonna push. So I was afraid that might happen to me, and then by the time I'm ready to push, it's kind of like too late. I don't have the drive anymore. So yeah.
No, definitely, that makes complete sense. So it'll be interesting because I know a lot of people probably want to or might think about studying economics.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in trading. So it'll probably be good that they know that though it does have some sort of route into finance,
Yeah.
doesn't really teach you too much about
Not
the trading
really,
side.
not really, no.
What is your goal with trading? Like, where are you wanting to take it?
I see myself, first of all, trading, I think, for like the foreseeable future. And then my goal with trading is I want to help people for sure. This is something on the radar, but also I want to use whatever money I make from trading to build things on the side, like passive income. Because really my biggest goal in life in general is that I don't want to be working for money. But at the same time, I still want to trade, but sort of like trade for fun. Like I don't have to show up to the charts every day to pay for something. So yeah, I want to keep on scaling trading just to put it in like different businesses and things that just like generate money on its own without me having to run it or show up every day. And yeah, and just go on and live my life.
No, definitely, because it is technically a job. Like, we still have to turn up every day to make money from the markets.
Totally. And you know, the one thing, like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to trading is people are like, all you need is a phone and you're good to go. I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah, it's much more than that. So yeah.
No, it's so true. And yeah, well, unfortunately, a lot of people do find themselves like enslaving themselves to the charts. You know, like everyone says, I'm going to be free. And I get it, and it's true. You can, build freedom from trading, but the reality is like you're never really free, because even to make money from trading, you have to put hours in. You have to keep showing up. Like, you can't just be like, made money, done.
Totally.
Because that's free.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
then, you could even argue that's not freedom, because you still got to press the button.
Press the button.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, creating that passive income, and I think you've mentioned that you've already created some, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
how much has that helped your trading? Having like other sources of income, so that trading isn't the only thing that has to pay the bills or anything like that.
Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to tell you about the best prop firm in the entire industry, Alpha Capital. Let's keep it nice and simple. You want to get paid out, you want to have institutional experience behind the firm, you want to have their own broker so that you can trade on the best platform that all traders love to use, and on top of which they have their own technology as well, so you know they're here for the long term. Alpha Capital has no commissions as well as part of their trading conditions, which is absolutely incredible. And not only that, they're London's finest. Now, if you want to join them, 20% off using the code RIZ, and the link is in the description below. Now, let's get back to the episode.
A lot. Like, I don't come to the charts with an expectation, I'm not actively looking for trades. I do show up every day, but if I don't make money that day, I'm fine. I'm not stressing, I'm not chasing. So, no, it helps so much with the psychology aspect. Yeah.
And what about in terms of your mindset of making money? So now not only are you making money from trading, but also like other sources of income?
Yeah.
So what's the mindset been in terms of like expenditure? Have you increased your expenses in any way? If so, was it like quite drastic, or have you been quite conservative and sort of thinking longer term with that?
Quite conservative, to be honest. Like, it's so funny. I always have a hard time spending money on myself. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I know. Yeah.
But no, I'm very conservative. Like, I don't want to, my expenses did increase a little bit, but not drastically. If anything, it's maybe like a 10-15% of the money that's coming in every month. And the rest of it, I'm not spending it. It's just good. I know that I have the cushion, but I'm not spending it. I don't think I live like that crazy lavish lifestyle. I go to bed so early. I just go to the gym, go to the charts, and then rinse and repeat. So yeah, no.
The reason I ask that is just because I know there'll be a lot of traders out there, and we've seen a lot of traders just in the community who suddenly make some money from trading, and then suddenly the lifestyle is completely different straight away.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous game, I feel like, because
It really is.
If let's say you're just on a winning streak, like you mentioned in terms of like conditions changing,
Oh, yeah.
If that just, maybe you made some good money during certain conditions, they changed, but now your expenses don't change because of the conditions. They stay the same.
Exactly. And it's funny because remember back in like 2021, everyone was making money from crypto. And then when crypto started crashing a little bit, everyone was selling their expensive cars. So it's like, did you really prep for that? And it's crazy.
It's so true. You mentioned routine there, which I think is very important. It's like you just said, your very simple routine.
Yeah.
How important is that to your trading?
If I'm super disciplined in my daily life, and creating that discipline reflected tremendously on the charts, because I do everything. I don't want to sound like a robot, but everything has a specific time in my life. Like, I go to bed at a certain time, I wake up at a certain time. Everything is like, I follow a crazy routine, and it's the same with the charts because I follow my trading plan religiously that way too. So, like, don't assume if you don't, again, this is only my humble opinion, guys, but don't assume if like you don't have a crazy routine outside of trading that trading is going to work out. But how? Like, you don't have discipline in your daily life. How are you how are you not treating it as a business? I know it's very accessible to all of us because we can download the app and like deposit $100 or whatever, but this is the biggest misconception is that, and I came into it not treating it as a business. I'm just treating it as like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna press the button and I'm never gonna close without a stop loss and hope for the best. Have you ever seen a business owner that isn't disciplined? I don't think so. So yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Have you always been disciplined before trading, or is that something that...
No, honestly, yeah. Developed over the years and as I got older too, since I'm old now.
Old.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting when trading. Like, don't get me wrong, it is obviously a choice, of course.
Of course.
Like, you choose to be disciplined, but trading kind of forces a lot of people to improve themselves.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And I think that is one of the benefits that people don't really kind of talk about or highlight a lot, is that trading really does force you to do it. A lot of people maybe choose still not to do it.
Yeah.
Which is always interesting, because obviously, like, if you want to see results, why wouldn't you want to change? But
exactly.
I guess that is the nature of the markets as well.
Yeah.
Like, we have there's good stubborn and bad stubborn. You know?
Yeah. I was the bad stubborn for a period of time. Yeah.
Even to this day, sometimes.
Yeah, I know,
it
right?
comes out. But yeah, like, tell us about, like, you're consistently profitable now.
Yes.
How does that feel in terms of, like, when you started to see the money come in? And this is something that I've spoken about a couple of times now, but like, when you finally hit that goal, if you will, of consistently profitable, did anything change? Did you have this moment where it's like, oh, I've made it now? Or was it maybe a little bit bittersweet?
So it changed in terms of like, I humbled myself for like crazy, and I didn't think I would be that person. But like, when I start seeing money coming in, I was a lot more grateful. I always thought I would be like this reckless person when I have a good amount of money and like, oh yeah, here, spend it on this and that. No, but I think I humbled myself, and I never like thought about, oh, I have this much money, I'm better than everyone else out of nowhere. Sure, it gives me the confidence that, God forbid, if anything happens, I am good and I can help people or like my family or whatever. But no, there wasn't a moment where I feel like, oh, I finally made it. Because I just feel like us as traders, as you reach a milestone, you're always looking forward to the next, to the next, to the next. So yeah, if anything, I'm like a lot more thankful for life now, and like, yeah, just appreciative of everything, all of the small little things in my life now. Yeah.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. What about, obviously, what's happening in the industry,
Yeah.
'Cause obviously you still trade the evaluation firms, right?
Yes, I love them. Yeah.
Of course. So, what is, with everything happening, the uncertainty with US traders, the uncertainty within the industry, do you have any sort of plans in place, or where's your mindset at in terms of being a full-time evaluation firm trader? What are your plans?
I started looking at futures last week, and this is the plan. I mean, we just gotta adapt because I live here, so what am I gonna do? I don't have any other option. I know. Bye, picking up my bags and leaving. No, I started looking at futures, and honestly, it's not as bad as like some people online make it sound like. If you just know how to read the chart, it's literally the same exact thing, just like different terminology. And yeah, I'm looking to shift to like futures prop firms in like a week or so. Not completely shift. I'm gonna keep the current accounts that I have, but yeah, I'm just gonna like proceed. What is that, career, or like get accounts with like futures prop firms?
Shift over.
Yeah, shift over.
It is interesting. So you would use the firms, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with the firms first, and then see how I feel. I'll probably like trade on futures on my own too, but I'll start with firms first.
Definitely, because the firms are. I don't know too much about the futures firms, but I know they're very different, like, in terms of how they're set up.
They
to
are.
a degree.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, it should be interesting. But I think what you're doing is the correct way in terms of just embracing it.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people sitting complaining, and at the end of the day, what does that do? And I think
nothing.
From my experience in terms of the markets, and more importantly, speaking to people who've been in the industry a lot longer than me.
Yeah.
This is very common in terms of like things change all the time.
I agree.
They just don't happen. Maybe when I say all the time, though, I don't mean like every year.
I know.
But like every few years, like you see these shifts happen, and like if it's something that you can't get used to, and I think that's generally the markets too. Generally the different markets, like they have different rules that come in or go. One guy, the previous guest was just telling me, there was a rule before 2007 where if you wanted to sell short on, I think this is more an option side potentially.
Yeah.
You couldn't sell it now. Like you can, now you could just press sell. You couldn't do that. You'd have to have it above price.
Oh,
so
that's
true.
interesting.
You know?
Okay.
I didn't even know that. That's
I
the thing.
didn't either.
And that's why it's, I think, so important for people to kind of maybe learn. And this is to myself too, is like just
Yeah.
learn about the past.
Exactly.
Of the markets. I think it's so easy for us to just be like, we're traders right now. And, just
Yeah.
start trading and
Yeah.
just thinking about what's happening in trading right now versus
Back in the
what's
day.
happened in the markets. Maybe we don't have to go back too far, but like, how have the markets changed over the last decade or two in my lifetime, let's say, in your lifetime?
100%, yeah.
It's probably useful
Yeah.
to then just for understanding purposes, just to understand that actually we're quite blessed maybe, and
I
it's
was gonna
very
say.
normal for things to change because
Yep.
if we go back a few decades, you wouldn't be able to have a brokerage firm on your phone and all
I
this.
know,
You'd have
right?
to call someone,
Buy
and then
this for me.
remember the prices,
Yeah.
and then hope your order's gone in.
And that's the thing. I feel like you mentioned it. We forget that we're super blessed with all the opportunities we have right now. And as obstacles arise, just you have to adapt and move on. And it's easy for us to sit here and be like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? And all of that. Is that going to get us anywhere in life? Really? No. So just move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of when you went full time, so I
Yeah.
remember you mentioned you had a good 6 to 8 months, right, where you then paid off the debt.
But I kept my job for longer than that.
Okay, this is what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Yeah, so like, when did you feel was the right decision for you to go full time, and like, what did you have in place in terms of did you have any sort of savings or specific amount you were making from trading in comparison to the income from the job?
Yeah.
Like, what was the right time for you to make that decision?
I was making consistent 5 figures from trading.
Wow.
And I also had 24 months saved up.
24.
Yeah, 24. I'm not taking chances and repeating my mistakes ever again because, like, when I didn't have enough savings, like I told you, it was a really bad time in my life. So I made sure I had a lot of savings, and I didn't just have like one 5-figure month. It was a few, like 5 or 6. I was like, okay, I am ready, and I have my savings saved up, so let's do it. And then eventually put the money into other things, and yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And then, just out of interest, 24 months. And even the 5 to 6 months to write off the debt, for example, is quite. I don't want to say quick because it's still a long time.
Yeah.
But in terms of the 24 months, though, that I would imagine take a bit of time to save up. Obviously, hope the payouts might have really helped with that, of
It
course.
did for sure.
But are your expenses decently low, where 24 months maybe isn't a crazy amount of money, or is it?
I feel like my expenses are average. Yeah, like I think it's the
Or
average.
would you say it helps though? Because like if let's say you had really high expenses,
Yeah.
then your buffer would need to be huge.
Exactly. And like, for example, I didn't jump into getting a fancy car right away. I waited a little bit to get like a decent car. Like the thing is, I feel like people just jump into elevating their lifestyle so much. But if you look at any successful businessman, for example, they always tell you, live below your means for a little bit until you build your life. So that's what I did. Can I afford it? Yes. Do I want it? No. Moving on. This is kind of like the way I did it to be able to save quickly.
Definitely. What would you say to the traders out there like who are just starting out?
Yeah.
So they're just coming into the markets.
Yeah.
What would you advise them on trying to avoid potentially some of the mistakes you had or made, or even just to fix some of the misconceptions they might have about trading?
It's not an overnight thing. It takes time. Like, give it some time. Trading is simple if you think about it, but it's not easy. Like, we make it hard for ourselves because this is just who we are. We're greedy. Human beings are greedy. You're going to be wanting all the money out of the market. So just give it some time. Don't think that you're going to go 0 to 60 in like a month or two. You know what I mean? It's going to take time for you to actually see money coming in. And also take the time to actually learn. Don't jump into trading live or buying a challenge or whatever without understanding. I'm not going to say everything because nobody understands everything about the markets, but have some sort of like a good understanding of how things work and like when are you supposed to enter and all that, and stick to one strategy. Don't hop from one strategy to another. I did that too and it didn't work. Just stick to one strategy, master it, and then go live or like buy challenge or whatever, because that's when the psychology aspect is going to kick in and you'll be able to see how you react to your losses and all that. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And what I would say is representation is very important, I think. And the reason I think that is just because having an example that you see yourself in, so whether it's, say, for example, being Asian, whether it's, say, being Muslim, whether it's being female, whether it's being old, whether it's being young,
Yep.
I think it helps. I think it's very helpful in terms of being able to see, oh, if that guy, it's like with podcasting.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the UK who has a podcast called CEO Cast. And he was like one of the first guys to really, he was he did a podcast before it really became like very, very popular.
I think, yeah.
And, but he's a young Asian guy. And I remember seeing him and I always wanted to do a podcast. I kind of just put it off for whatever reason, gave excuses. But I remember seeing him and going, if he can do it,
I can do it.
Yeah. Right? And though I knew I could do it anyway, but I still just, by having the representation of someone, he's done it, look, he's built it up, I can do it as well. And I think that's so important. And I think you're in a position where it's very similar.
Yeah.
The male-dominated industries like trading or law as well, because my mum's a barrister, a lawyer, and she had to face a lot. And as a guy, you don't really see it. You don't see it and you don't experience it. And it's then so hard to say anything about it, or not say anything about it, but like comment on it, because you've never experienced it, so you don't actually know. And I remember I was very naive about it all, but like my mum, for example, helped to open my eyes. Some other female traders I've spoken to have helped to open my eyes as well.
Yeah.
Like, what could you say to the traders, the young female, or just females in general, or the Muslim girls out there, for example, who are interested in trading or finance or investing, but maybe holding themselves back, thinking, oh, that's a guy's thing, or I can't really do that.
Yeah, like you're so capable, so capable. Just literally the one thing I can say is just do it. Like if someone is rude to you, so what? If someone looks at you funny, or it's like it says a smart remark about the way you look or dress or whatever, so what? Like at the end of the day, it's a random stranger's opinion. Are you really gonna let all the external fears dedicate like your life? So no, it's literally just do it. So what if it's a male-dominated thing? I'm here today. If I thought the same way and never put myself out there, I would have never met you, for example. Because that was a thing. Also, I was like, all the guys online, all the people online are guys. I don't know if I'm gonna put myself out there, but I really hope if just one person watches this podcast today and finds inspiration, I really hope I help in that aspect. I know it's hard being a girl sometimes in like specific settings, and I have experienced it before, being a girl, being Muslim, all that. But it is what it is, You can't change, excuse my language, like weird people's intentions. So
that was a really bad language.
I know. I was gonna say something else, but that was like PG friendly. Yeah,
that's okay. But no, I think that's so true. I think it's so true, and it's like you have to just own who you are. And
100%.
At the end of the way I've always seen it is if people have something to say, they're the wrong people anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's friends, I remember I used to have friends who would make like mildly racist jokes, and for me in my head it was more so like, rather than like, why'd you say that or anything, it was more so like, okay, this guy's not a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
They've shown themselves in a sense, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, that's cool. Let them be who they are, whether you agree or not. Because I see, another thing is that you see a lot of people getting the opposite side, right?
Yeah.
Where they start getting argumentative. They start getting really just angry at the world or the industry or whoever it may be, like individuals. Rather than being that way, you're better off just being, okay, cool, just move on. It's not about you don't agree with it, and yes, speak up against it and stuff like that. But you're not like just, your whole life then doesn't revolve around giving back energy in that direction.
Totally. Like, I'm also very thankful that most of the people I connected with online are nice, but there are some people that are not nice. But what do I do? Am I going to get in an argument with you? I just move on with my life.
That's it. 100%.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And in terms of, trading wise, being able to manage the sort of figures, I'm sure when you said when you first started trading, you were just excited to make $100 a day, right? But now obviously you're having those 5-figure months, and I'm sure the goal is to progress that into multiple 5 figures, into potentially 6 figures, right?
Yes.
But even that progression from a few $100s to a few thousand to then tens of thousands, how's that been in terms of getting used to the numbers, getting used to the new risk amounts, the new profit amounts? Has there been any sort of adjustment, any sort of barriers that may have shown itself?
So what I did when I got the job and then I was ready to trade again, I started big. I got like big accounts just to start with these big numbers right off the bat. Okay. And I was like, the only way I'm going to get used to it if I just like dive headfirst. And that's what I did. Like, I didn't dive headfirst as in like I didn't use any risk management. But I started big. Like, I bought bigger challenge accounts. I think the standard at that time was 100K. I went for 200 with multiple companies, and I did them at the same time. Because the way I thought about it was like, okay, if you're risking 1% and this number is huge, but you do have the potential also, if you're right, the number that you will be banking is going to be very good. And then at that time, it was life-changing. Wow. So, yeah, what I did is, like I told you, I started big right off the bat. And that's why currently I don't have an adjustment going up, for example, in lot sizes or like...
Do you, how much are you funded at the moment?
800.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you like merge them or do you just trade them separately?
I used to merge them. Now I trade them separately for the health of my psychology. So yeah, I trade them separately now.
Does it what is it about merging them that sort of like makes the psychological edge?
I had a couple of incidents where like the trade copy, for example, wouldn't close the trade on time, or like it wouldn't take the trade on time, or it freezes.
And you're quite a fast execution trader.
Exactly. So that's why I trade them separately now. But if I find like a good trade copier, for example, in the futures side, I'm planning to use a trade copier.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Drop a comment below,
Yes,
any
please.
futures trade copiers.
Any
let us
help
know.
will be appreciated.
Definitely. I feel like we're going to see a lot more futures content. If anyone hasn't yet,
Yeah.
that's a gap right now to start doing it,
Are you planning to look into it at all? Or?
Me? Potentially.
I mean, you're safe from the UK.
I'm safe. Yeah, I'm safe for now. But I think
know.
who knows with this industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, potentially I'll probably look into it generally, just because obviously I'm going to probably have a lot more futures traders on the podcast, right? So it'll be even like options. I've had options traders on, and I still to this day do not understand options.
Yeah.
Even though I speak to them and I try and just keep it about trading generally.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they mention Greeks and
Delta.
And Delta, yeah. And I'm like,
what is that?
well, yeah. Greeks is in particular. Delta sounds cool. Greeks, I'm like, what's the Greek got to do with it? I don't know. What do they do?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it would make sense for me to research all of these different industries to really just understand them a lot more. I need to free myself up some time. I've been very, very guilty.
Busy man.
I've been just guilty of being crazily busy without even needing to, because I have that many episodes anyway, so I don't need to keep recording. So it's a bit silly of me.
Yeah.
I think I just fell into over trading or over filming, But thankfully, I'm having a break after this Miami trip.
Nice.
So just to spend time to actually
with your
be
family.
Better. Be with family 100%.
Nice.
Because they've been putting up with my absence for too long. Even though they're here with me, this is the thing. So like,
nice.
The way I make it work is I bring them with me, but I don't see them. So it's like a catch-22. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
They do get to have a holiday, but then they're doing it alone. So it's like, I don't know.
No, that's nice. It's well deserved.
So spend some time, and then also spend time to improve and be better at the podcasting as well.
Nice.
So it will be interesting.
Yeah, excited
But
for you.
futures.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But in terms of like trading them separately then, do you trade them separately as in like you just take the trade on each one separately, or do you literally like, okay, I'll trade this account, you get a payout there, and then I'll move on to the next one?
Yeah, this account, get a payout there. Now I don't aim for like crazy payouts per account, maybe like 3 to 4%, move on to the next trade. Or like the next account. So yeah, it's easier because like I told you, I take less trades, like a few number of trades. So it has been easier for me. Yeah.
That's good. And in terms of the consistency side of things, have you experienced any sort of like drawdown periods whilst you've been profitable?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Like last year, I had like 2 bad months, which is like my drawdown months were July and August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also back to back?
Back to back. So it's like I get myself out of drawdown, I go back in drawdown. It was very, very bad and hard. But
What was the purpose? What was the reason of that?
I was trading a separate way. Well, like I was forcing the moves to happen a specific time of the day, and this is where it comes. Like moves now have been, at least my moves have been happening a little bit later in the day. So I'd be forcing something to happen earlier, and then it doesn't. And then
was it happening earlier before that? Or
yeah,
was it,
yeah, and I wasn't adjusting, so that was my problem. So that's
was that
why.
where the journal helped then? Or?
Yes, 100%, 100%.
Shout out TradeZella.
I know, we love you, TradeZella.
I love that. And so like, how did you handle that though? So obviously, I'm guessing you looked at the journals, recognized the mistake.
Yeah.
But whilst you were going through it though, how did you keep your sort of psychology in check? How did you keep your risk management in check? How did you basically stop yourself from going crazy like most people would? I
sized down tremendously. I wasn't aiming to get out of drawdown in 1 or 2 trades. Like it took me a decent amount of time. Like literally, I started July in drawdown. And then by the end of July, I was like, okay, negative 0.5% or something on all of my accounts because I trade personal too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then August came and my birthday's in August. So I was like, this is going to be my month. And it wasn't. So yeah, sized down tremendously until I was out of the hole, or like maybe I have a few percentages left. And that's when I used regular like risk again, normal risk again.
Do you have like a rule set with if you're in X amount of drawdown, you drop the risk more?
I do, yeah. So if I am in 3% drawdown, I drop it to 0.5%. If I get myself, if it's like really, really bad and I get myself to 5 or like 6, we drop it to 0.25 and we're just embracing the journey on the way up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, how have you managed that in terms of, sort of trusting the bigger picture and playing that longer term game? Because most traders, unfortunately, find themselves thinking very short term and not being able to embrace that longer term game and that sort of just trading over the bigger picture versus, I'm in drawdown.
Yeah.
I get if I risk 1%, I'll be out of drawdown, or I'll be only a small amount of drawdown left, you know? So you chose, and at the end of the day, it is a choice, of course, but like, how did you maintain that? What was the mindset to do that?
Because back in the day when I was in drawdown and I would risk huge, it would be gone in like 2 days. So the PTSD. And also, to be fair, watching like traders that have been on your podcast and they talk about how like they also go on drawdown periods and they survive it, and they talk about how they survive it is really good. I was able to connect with others that way. And it's just, you realize that yes, it is a lonely journey, but there's others that go through the same circumstances like you, so, and they make it out alive. So if they can do it, why can't I? And I adjust my risk management too. So yeah.
Definitely. And what would you say to traders out there? Let's say if you were to say, this is the top 3 most important things for you, you know, that maybe other traders might find very similar. What would be like the top 3 tips for traders to focus on to progress?
Like we said, sticking to one strategy, but also like understanding fundamentals, because when I didn't know anything about fundamentals, moves would happen out of nowhere and it's like, oh, what's happening? But it really wasn't out of nowhere. I just didn't understand. So fundamentals are really, really important. Keep it simple. Like if you found one strategy and you think you want to stick with it, just stick with that and embrace that strategy and give it its time, you know? The last thing is psychology, in my opinion, is the hardest part to master when it comes to trading. Have a life outside of trading, because if you're glued to the charts 24/7, you are not going to make progress. Those are the top 3 things, and those are the things that helped me at least. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And was there any sort of, do you read trading books or anything like that?
Yes, I listen to books because I get distracted when I read for some reason, but yeah.
I'm the same. I started ghost reading. I bought oh my God, I bought like crazy amounts. I've literally got like 2 bookshelves worth of books.
Yeah.
I've read like 5, you know.
Yeah, I like listening to them. Yeah, I love Best Loser Wins.
Yeah.
We love Trader Tom. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Market Wizards, of course. I feel like everyone has read that. There's one I wanted to mention, but I forgot the name. I think it's called because I haven't read it in a long time, The Bible of Price Action.
Price Action Bible, probably.
Yeah, something like that. That's a really, really good book. If someone is looking to understand price action, they definitely should read it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Tom Hogarth, isn't it?
He's really good.
I've been really wanting to get him on the podcast, but he's a hard man to get hold of.
I bet.
You know, we'll have to start sending clips at him.
Yeah.
You know, just, Tom, please. But yeah, no, because that's for me, the whole aim is like just to speak to all the traders that exist.
Yeah.
You know? And just speak to them. That's it really, and just get their perspective on things.
Yeah.
We get very different perspectives from all different traders. There are
Totally.
a lot of similarities, which I think is so important as well to highlight, because the similarities is kind of then, in my opinion, like the cheat code, if you will, because if all these traders share the same sort of perspective, there has to be something to that, potentially.
100%.
Obviously, everyone's individual. And that's the beauty of it, is like none of the traders have spoken to each other to say, let's all say this, you know?
Hey guys, we're going on Riz podcast today.
But yeah, that's why I've enjoyed so much about it. You know?
That's awesome.
But Nehal, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate you
much.
again coming all the way down to do this podcast with me.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully we'll do something in the future.
Yeah.
Umar Ashraf, actually, founder of TradeZella, he was telling me to do a roundtable.
Nice.
You know, all-female trader roundtable.
Nice.
I don't know if I would be the right person to host it. I'm not sure. But
no, you're doing great.
but I'm thinking, I don't know what it is. because obviously we spoke. I just said, I reached out to you after the thing. We spoke like, we'll do a podcast sometime, hopefully. And I was here not too far after. And we made it happen. But I have had a struggle. I won't lie to you. I've had a struggle of having female guests on. A lot of them say no.
No, and let me tell him he's very approachable. Like, I'm not saying that because I'm here. Like,
being forced to say.
I know. No, you're very approachable. Like, I was nervous, of course, coming first, but I've seen your style of interviewing people, and it's very like calm and collected. So if there's a female trader out there, you should come on here. It's very nice. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make a roundtable like that happen.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
So, yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch. But everyone at home, the links for Nehal will be in the description below. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you support her in her journey and hopefully things to come.
Yeah.
And, we'll drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from today's episode. There'll be other episodes linked right here, playlists and other episodes that you should check out. Hit subscribe, and until next time, take care.